On Monday, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change met in Nairobi, and just a few days later, Europe announced its contribution to the ongoing fight against climate change. It's just the latest in a series of announcements meant to facilitate a deal later this year in Paris to succeed the Kyoto Protocol. Negotiations are still on a rocky path, and one of the components, the tech transfer component, Devex is watching quite closely. In the United States, the budget season has truly begun. Earlier this week, we saw the first appropriations hearing in the Senate on the foreign affairs budget, and those hearings are going to continue. So far, there haven't been many signs from the conservative majority in Congress about cutting foreign aid this year. But we will probably see some fights over portions of the budget, including multilateral spending, relations with Cuba, as well as with countries in the Middle East and Far East region. Meanwhile, US government officials have made a trip to Silicon Valley to ask for more resources to fund the ongoing fight against Ebola. Last year, tech billionaires like Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg propped up the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, and that help has been invaluable. Now that we're approaching the next phase in the fight against Ebola and the post-Ebola reconstruction, money from Silicon Valley and other private sector donors can help fund the next phase in reconstruction. Also in Washington, US government officials are meeting with Cuban counterparts to hash out the next steps in the thawing of relations between Cuba and the United States. Foreign aid is not expected to flow anytime soon between the United States and Cuba. Cuba doesn't seem to have shown any interest so far in joining multilateral fora like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, although that of course can change. We're going to be watching those issues very closely, so stay tuned to Devex. Also watch out for Youth Will, a month-long initiative we're starting next Tuesday to highlight the contributions of youth leadership in global development. You can find all of that and more on devex.com.